Thank you to Sneva and Salola for the introduction. Distinguished guests, leaders from the Burmese community, leaders from fellow ethnic communities, and I would like to welcome actually our guest speakers today, Andama from Deputy CEO from Refugee Council of Australia, and Lord Convenor from Starks. And you're most welcome. Very honored us for being here today. I'd like to welcome the Karen elders, Karen young people, and fellow Karens, and also fellow Karens from interstate. I've seen a couple of them. We really appreciate you being here. You're most welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by acknowledging the custodians, traditional custodians of the place we're meeting in, and pay my respect to the elders past and present. I always like to start every year at New Year with where we come from, because where we come from tells us who we are. And we seem to have settled in Gobi Desert in Mongolia around about the 14th century. Later we moved down to the western China. We settled at the source of Yangtze for a while. The Chinese historians call us the Yang people, after the Yangtze River. Then we moved down the Yangtze. When we get to the top of what is now Burma or Myanmar, we traveled down three major rivers, Irrawaddy, Salween, and Mekong. That's why today you can see Karens at the delta of Irrawaddy and around about Bago Division and so on, and also the Salween Valley and in Thailand itself. We took 600 years to get to Myanmar, and we got there in 739 BC. I just want to welcome Julia Finn, who just come in here. We're honored by your presence. She always comes to join us in our celebrations. So you see, people, we are an ancient people with very long history and very rich culture. So it's always good to reflect on that every New Year Day. We are agrarian people. We're rural people from the country. So we have a rural origin of Karen New Year, and the Karen New Year falls on the first the day of our month, Thalay, in our Karen calendar. And Thalay is a very important month because leading up to Thalay, the harvest has been completed, and the consumption of the first crop has to be celebrated. It's very important to us Karens to do that. And it's a traditional, long-held custom. And you can see here, this is a couple of pictures from the Karens at Mahn. The top pictures, they are in the field. They are collecting the first crop into a special basket. And there's going to be a few toast with rice wine to the new crop, in honor of the new crop. And when I was young, I noticed that some of my elders took more than just a few toasts on the rice wine. But eventually, the basket is carried on the shoulder and then taken to the village. And we also follow that in the procession. And that's the tradition. And early, maybe tomorrow morning, the villagers will hear this buffalo horn sounding, and people beating on the harvest drum, calling the villagers to the village square to bring in the new year. And at the end of the ceremonies, they will sit down to a feast based on the fresh cooking of the new crop, and with a lot of other, delicious food items. So that's the tradition that we remember in nostalgia, the tradition that we are pleasuring. However, a lot of our people at the moment in Myanmar, they are not able to do that because they are not in their fields, because they are being airstrike, they are being cannon attacked by the military, and their houses, their churches are destroyed. So they're in refugee camps, RDP camps. In December alone, there were 77,000 more IDPs. And at the moment in Karen State, there are 752,000 IDPs. And of course, you know, the resistance, the fighting is not just in Karen State, it's across the board. And so you see IDPs everywhere in the country. And the last time I looked, the overall IDP number is 1.9 million. And the UNHCR in its 2024 planning is targeting about 2.3 million IDPs and 1.4 million refugees. And very alarmingly, 50% women, 49% children. We can't do much. We can't do much with the type of the conflict. But what we've done, the Karen community have done, is to help the IDPs for the last so many years. I can't remember. Even if you look at back the last 3 years, we have contributed nearly $250,000 money to help the IDPs. We don't stop at just money. We also sent in December 40 laptops for the IDP schools and 152 boxes and 2 big bags of clothing. So I really want to commend and congratulate our community for their generosity and their effort in helping the immediate needs of the IDPs. You know, it's very upsetting, it's very distracting, it's very infuriating to hear that our people are being shot from the sky and then cannon attack from far. But when you consider the other side of the coin, why are they doing that? It's because the army, the military is losing on the ground. Not only in Karen State, but in the whole country as well. And recently, from October, there was a coordinated attack by not only individual ethnic armed groups, but by combined forces of all the resistance forces as well. Sadoti, in one of the articles in our current newsletter says, this is an indication of how weak the military are on the ground. And they are no longer able to get the army in there on the ground. So that's a sort of, to us, a bit of a relief to hear that, because it's a very destructive thing that the army is doing. But there are other telling signs as well. The Special Advisory Council from Myanmar did a research on all the townships and see who controls what, where, how much. And they found that the army, the military, controls only about 15%, up to 20%. So they are not really in a position to control the country or to claim that the country is legitimately under their control. There's another indication. There are a lot of studies trying to speculate what will happen at the end. And Dr. Tumantri, in one of the articles in our current newsletter, looked at a study that looks at who's going to win. What are the chances of one side winning over the other? And they've concluded that the military winning over NUG, National Unity Government, and its allies is about 39%, very unlikely. On the other hand, they concluded that NUG and its allies winning over the military is 61%. So that is a slightly optimistic kind of prediction, but we know that it will not happen very soon. It will take a long time. And the process will go on, and especially the recovery and rebuilding process. And so it'll be intergenerational. That's why we're preparing our young in the Karen State to be able to face with the challenges that are going to be there, a lot to deal with. And there is a place called TCI, the Christian Institute, and it is in a remote place in the Korean state. It's a high learning institute. And over there, the TCI train them in leadership and professional training. And one of the department, the Korean Studies Department, talks about the history of the conflict. You know, what are some of the possible scenarios, all the things I've discussed. The TCI offers 3 degrees in IT, business and English, and they're targeting disadvantaged, IDP, and refugee young Koreans. And the community has been very generous. They not only support the IDPs, they also support this educational enterprise as well. And if you look at the figures there, about 85,000 has been sent to TCI for its running. And in December, we sent 100 computers to boost up the infrastructure for computer literacy and specialist training. And if you look at overall contribution from around the world, if you're the pie chart, the blue part is very big. We're about 1/3 contribution. So I really want to congratulate the community for their generosity and effort. TCI has enjoyed very good student intake annually since its inception 2015. Currently there are nearly 100 students. And it's very interesting to note that 25 of them are from IDP and refugee camps. In terms of outputs, TCI has graduated 5 cohorts, and it's about to graduate the 6th in March. And up to now, 77 graduates have been graduated. We have 17 more. And what's really heartening to observe is that 88% of them are employed in Korean state. And it means that they are already taking part in the recovery and rebuilding process. So that's, I guess, in our achievement as a community in 2023. We respond to immediate needs that IDPs are needing, but we also try to look long-term and try to prepare our young for the challenges that come ahead. So it's time now in New Year time, it's a Thanksgiving time, and traditionally the young people would take food, presents and so on. They would visit the houses of elders in the village. They would pay homage to them. They would thank them for their wisdom and their guidance. We're going to do today too, as part of the program. But for now, we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank our honored guests that come and support us and celebrate the New Year with us. And also the community for having been putting so much effort into helping IDPs and also helping the young to prepare for their future. I just want to say Happy New Year 2763 to you all. Thank you very much.